4 years ago, when I first started being a tooth-gem artist and my gems would fail, I just panicked and assumed that I messed something up. Whether it was 2 days, 2 weeks, or 2 months, it all felt so random. And it got to the point where I almost quit being a tooth-gem artist because I believed that I wasn't made to be a tooth-gem artist. But then something changed in me and I started tracking when my tooth-gems would fail. And that's when I started to realize that tooth-gem failures are not random at all. There's actually a pattern. And that pattern tells you exactly where the problem is. If you're new here, hi, my name is Nee. I'm a dental hygienist and tooth-gem artist for the last 5 years. And today I'm sharing the failure timeline framework that took me from being constantly anxious and confused about gem failures and now feeling so confident about tooth-gem failures because I know exactly what went wrong and what I need to change next time. Now, if you've ever felt like tooth-gem failures were just an unpredictable chaos, this video is absolutely going to change everything for you. So let me break down what I discovered. Now, you see, the timeline of when tooth-gem failure happens actually gives you so much information about what exactly the issue was. Today, we're going to go through the 4 retention milestones that you need to look out for in your own tooth-gem failures. Now, the first failure milestone we're going to talk about are the gems that last from 0 to 2 weeks. If your gems are falling off within 2 weeks, and what I mean by that is a few days, a few hours, 1 week, 2 weeks max, then this is almost always an application issue. Now, I know, honey, it is probably hard to hear right now because it feels like you're doing everything right and it's exactly what your tooth-gem trainer taught you to do. You followed the steps, you used the products that they recommended, you cured the gem properly, you did it so intricately, you did it so neatly and cleanly. But the thing is, early failures means that there was something wrong in the preparation or the application process. Either the actual technique of the application needs to be revised, or what products you use, or how you use those products. One of these fundamental steps was skipped. Now, this could be a few different things, from the actual tooth preparation itself to maybe there was moisture contamination throughout the procedure, or maybe your curing light is not as strong as you need, or the curing process was incomplete, or maybe the adhesive was just not the right adhesive to use for that particular shape. The point is, when a tooth gem fails early, it never had a chance to even bond onto the tooth properly. So because of that, the bond and the tooth gem itself was not even able to sustain daily wear. Now, what you need to understand is just because your tooth gems fail early does not mean you should blame yourself or you should feel terrible about this. And I know just how hard that can be because we obviously want the best for our clients and we don't want to have a business and charge our clients if our gems are not meeting up to our own standard. That used to be me when I first started doing tooth gems. My tooth gem retention was unpredictable up to 1 year until I made this switch and I realized that there were patterns that I had to look out for. Now, the best part about this is all of these things can be learned, but it's about recognizing that there is a specific step or part of your application that needs to be worked on. The mindset shift that I want you to have is, instead of seeing failures as a failure on your part, see it as data. So if you have tooth gems that fail within this period of time, it's basically telling you to go back to the basics, go back to the application and tighten up that process so that you can move forward. Now, the next tooth gem timeline failure that we're going to look at is the gems that last from 2 months to 6 months. Now, if a gem is lasting a couple of months up to 6 months max, then you're looking at a completely different issue here. This is always almost a lifestyle mismatch. Now, this one trips a lot of tooth gem techs up because they think, well, if my gem lasted for 2 years, then it's definitely not my application that's the problem. It's probably the client. And you're actually right. Your application was probably fine. The gem was bonded well, it held up, but something about the client's lifestyle was incompatible with that specific gem design or the placement. So here's what usually happens when you have a gem that fails between 2 to 6 months. They come back and they say that they promise you, they swear to you that they didn't have anything hard, crunchy or chewy. They took care of it extremely well. They left the tooth gem clinic and they did all your aftercare to the T. And they just am so confused as to why their gems have failed. Now, at this point, you kind of believe them, you kind of don't believe them. But ultimately, the gem still failed. So when I hear from other gem techs that this is happening, it is a very strong indicator that the gem set does not fit their lifestyle. And most times, it's not even related to eating foods. Maybe they're actually not aware that they grind their teeth at night and don't realize how much pressure they could be placing on their gems. Maybe they have a habit of biting on their nails or opening bobby pins with their teeth. Maybe because their oral hygiene is inconsistent, there's plaque buildup over the tooth gem over a period of time that weakens the bond and also causes changes in the oral cavity. Another generalization that gem techs make is if you are involved in this kind of lifestyle, then you're not fit fit to have any tooth gems. But again, that's not true. There are actually certain designs and placements you can choose to reduce the risk of failure. For example, you might have a client whose oral hygiene is not exactly great, but it's not exactly poor as well. So instead of giving them a complex design, such as something that's tightly clustered, you might give them a low maintenance or low risk design to start off with, and then slowly build up their tolerance as they get more better at taking care of their gems. So again, the failure isn't telling you that your clients can't have gems, but it's telling you the design and the placement that you chose does not exactly fit what their lifestyle entails. Now, if you're experiencing unpredictable tooth gem failures and you want to get to the bottom of it now and to know exactly how it happens, why it happens, and what you need to change the next time they come, I have a mini program on troubleshooting gem failures that goes through exactly what each gem failure means and the right techniques to get you from 2-day or 2-week retention to the 2-year mark. Now, if you want to check that out, there's a link in my description for all that information. But moving on, there's still 2 more failure timelines that we need to talk about. Now, the next gem failure milestone we need to talk about is the one from 1 year to 2 years. Now, if your gems are failing between this time, luckily for you, this is actually natural. Gems failing between the 1 to 2 year mark is completely normal. This is an expected retention. Now, I know on social media, gem techs are boasting about their 3.5 year retention, 4-year retention, whatever retention. However, I'm going to expose the industry right now. 1 to 2 year retention is normal. And the reason for that is gems are not meant to be permanent. They're a semi-permanent cosmetic enhancement that are expected to fail. And 1 or 2 years for a tooth gem is a natural lifespan. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, okay, so if it's normal, why do we have some people whose gems fail at the 1 year, 2 month mark versus others at the 2-year mark? What's the difference? At this point, it's really not about the technique or the strategic placement. The difference between these 2 people is an accumulation of their lifestyle and their maintenance. For example, one person that smokes every single day for the last 10 years is going to have higher failure rate compared to a person who's never vaped before. But this isn't always so black and white because people are just not a combination of just one thing. Usually it's their dental health, their medications, their lifestyle, what they do on the weekends. This is what I mean when I say it's an accumulation of lifestyle factors. So if you have clients whose gems last from between that 1 to 2 year mark, you should feel confident. Your application was solid. Your technique was on point. The gem did exactly what it's supposed to do. Now, if you're wondering, how can I make this gem last for as long as possible? This is when you can start considering strategic placements that are low maintenance and low risk. Low maintenance and low risk gem designs are going to give you the best longevity. So just a reminder that this isn't a failure, it is absolutely normal. Now, the last key tooth gem failure timeline that we're going to talk about is the tooth gem that lasts over 10 years. Now, here's the one that surprises a lot of people. If you have a gem that has lasted 10 plus years, that's not something to boast about, honey. It usually is because the application was so poor. Now, I know this sounds really backwards, but people think, wow, 10 years, 20 years, that means that it was applied perfectly. But in my practice as a dental hygienist and tooth gem artist for the last 5 years, tooth gems that last anywhere over 10 years means that the adhesive that was used was just too excessive. The analogy I like to use with my clients is if you had a concrete slab and you only had 1 brick on this concrete slab, no matter what goes through this area, that brick is going to stay. And tooth gems that last over 10 years exhibit this same type of behavior. And as we know, not because it was done well, but because there is so much adhesive with just 1 gem. Just like that brick, that tooth gem is not gonna go anywhere because it wasn't done well. Tooth gems that have excessive adhesive and composite usually accumulate significant stains over time that make the tooth look more discolored and yellow over time. And when you go to remove that gem, usually the removal process is much more longer and more invasive. Now, the goal as a tooth gem tech isn't to make the tooth gem last forever. The goal is to make your tooth gems last for a healthy amount of time. You stop feeling that they're a personal attack. That's the shift I made 3 years ago that completely changed my confidence in my tooth gem business, from feeling like I was winging it and just hoping and praying that these gems would last, to actually knowing what I'm looking at and how to fix it. If you want to know exactly what to change for each timeline, what techniques to adjust, what the best products are, how to use your products effectively, what questions to ask your clients so you know exactly how their gems can fail, the Troubleshooting Gem Retention mini program walks you through step by step so you never have to guess again. I've put the link in the description if you're interested in taking a look at that. Now, I'd love to know in the comment section below, have you noticed any of these patterns in your gem practice, and have they changed over time? And if you have any questions about troubleshooting specific failures, then please feel free to put it down in the comment section below and I will do my best to answer them, and I read every single comment. Now, after this, if you're realizing that your tooth gem knowledge or your tooth gem training was not as comprehensive as you wanted it to be, and you want to understand the 3 biological factors that can cause gem failures, I have a video right here breaking down the 3 game changers that took my gem retention from being unpredictable to having 2 to 4 year retention consistently. And you're going to want to watch that next.